Hi everyone, welcome to day 47 of my 50 days SQL challenge series where I solve data analyst and business analyst interview question for SQL. Today we'll be solving one of the data analyst interview question. So let's see the question. Write an SQL query to display the inventory details including the product name, quantity in stock, remaining stock label, medium if the quantity is more than 10, low otherwise, and the supplier ID. Assume each product has a unique supplier ID. Now let's see the data that we have in the table. So we have product ID, we have product name, and we have quantity, and we have price. So let's read the question one more time to understand it better. It says write an SQL query to display the inventory details including the product name. So first thing that we need is basically the product name. So let's just write it down. First thing that we need is the product name, and then we need the remaining quantity in stock, which is basically the quantity stock. And other than that, what we need is basically remaining stock label. Now basically we need something called stock label. Okay, so this is important. So we need something called stock label. Now here is a condition. It says medium. Just show the stock label as medium if basically we have quantity which is more than 10. So basically we need to say quantity more than 10, then we want to call it basically medium. Okay, medium. Otherwise what we need to call is basically low, right? This is what we need to call this stock label. So this is what we need to create a new column basically. Now other than that, we need to simply return the supplier ID. So basically in last we need basically this supplier ID, right? This is what we need in return. Now let's see how we can solve this question. So I'm just going to say select everything from this inventory table. So I'm already getting everything. Now I will need to create a new column based on this condition, which is basically based on this inventory conditions. Okay, now based on this column, which is quantity column, I need to create a new column. So I can use a case statement here. Now case is same as like if logic that you have in Python or Excel. So we will see what is the syntax and how you can use this case statement to solve this type of segmentations problems. So I'm just going to say case. Now case goes with something called when, then. Okay, now after this when you put the logic here, okay, here you put the logic, and after this then here you basically put what outcome you want if this logic is true. Now this when goes with something called else. So if in case this when is not true, basically this logic is not true, so that basically row will fall into this basically else category, and then you basically say end. Okay, this is how you end the case. Now as you know, whatever you enter between this select and from, this create a new column. So we can give this column as a name. So I'm just going to say call stock label. Okay, something like stock label or something, anything that you want to give. Now this is how we will need to build our logic here to solve these questions. Now you can see this case goes with when and then. Now here you need to put the logic. Now logic is basically conditions. Now here it's going to create a new column, then it's going to check the first row. Now for the first record, which is basically this first record, the product ID is 1, that is left off, and the quantity it seems like it's more than basically what, it's more than 10, so it's going to print something called medium here. Okay, now it's going to check for this one more than 10, medium. Now this one has less than 10, so this is going to basically print low here. So this is how we need to build the logic. Now how we can say this logic is going to work? So as it is going to check row by row, so we can say something called quantity is basically greater than 10, then medium. So we can say here quantity is basically this column, quantity greater than 10. So if in case this logic is true, what I want in return is basically medium. Okay, now if this logic is true, then what I want is medium. Now if in case this logic is not true, if the quantity is not greater than 10, and what is the alternative? So the alternative is going to be the quantity will be less than 10, isn't it? So we can say that else it's basically low. Now in the else you don't have to basically put the logic. As soon as this logic is false, definitely this logic is going to be true, right? So this is going to basically say low. Now if in case we basically click on this run button, it's going to create the new basically column, and you can see it has given the conditions. Now if in case by mistake you basically forgot to enter this else logic, it's going to consider that as a null, and you will be getting something called nulls. If this logic is true, it's going to say medium, and otherwise you will be getting something called null. Now let's see, this one has quantity which is more than 10, that is giving us correct, which is medium. Now this one has basically again more than 10, medium. This one has basically less than 10, you can see it's giving low, right? Now I can verify it. This one has 6, which is less than 10, it's basically keeping as low. So this is how you can solve this type of interview questions. Now if you want to by any chance check it, I can basically just go ahead and ignore it, and you will be getting in the low it's going to basically print something called null. You see, so basically this is going to say, okay, if it is more than 10, then we have given that condition, but we have not given this else conditions. Now it doesn't know if it is less than 10 what need to do. Then it's basically printing something called null. I'm just going to ignore it for now so that you can see the whole answer. Now that is it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video till the end. If you really like my content, do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me in the Instagram. Have a good day. Take care. Bye bye.